Hey guys, my name is Relyks from Selfless, and I'm making this little video just to talk about different styles of lurking, basically. So I'm going to be using Mirage as my example map because I think it's a pretty good map for lurkers. You can be very dynamic in how you lurk and what you choose to do. So basically, there are two main styles of lurking. There's aggressive lurking, and then there's passive lurking. Which you choose to use depends on a lot of things. Depends on how the round is playing out, information that you might get from your teammates. Also, I think largely depends on how much utility you have and your health. But for instance, if I default outside of A on our terrorist side, right, then typically I'll usually be lurking A. So the passive style of lurking is anywhere on the map where you are just basically posted up and you're waiting for the enemy team, the CTs, to get impatient or to get a little aggressive looking for information, and you look to punish that. So this isn't you looking to take a fight, this is just you waiting. You're waiting patiently for the other team to make an information play or to get aggressive and push something, and then you're there waiting for it. On Mirage, this typically involves you sitting, in Palace looking for the Palace push, or outside a ramp. Sometimes this can involve, maybe you're just sitting here top mid waiting to see if they push mid for mid control. The other type of passive style of lurking, which is kind of hard to show in Mirage, but if you think of like Dust 2 for instance, is when, let's say, your team throws, your team throws this top mid smoke from terrorist spawn, and this allows you to cross to these top mid boxes basically unseen, unless there's somebody fast in connector. So another passive style of lurking is if your team just wants you to get to these top mid boxes, and then they're either going to execute at A or execute at B. If they're executing at B near these top mid boxes, you are either waiting to catch a rotate from somebody going connector to go up cat or something like that, or you're going to be late flanking. So you'll late flank cat, maybe you'll choose to once your team secures the site, maybe you're choosing to, get yourself in the window and you want to late flank market. So that's the other passive style. Whatever the passive style lurking is, whether it's you're somewhere to attempt to cut off rotates or you're simply waiting for the enemies to push, the passive style involves your presence basically being relatively unknown. They don't exactly know where you are. And that's another thing I think is important about lurking is you need to be dynamic. You don't want to be passive all the time. You don't want to be aggressive all the time. You want to mix it up. And even within those different styles, if you're just going to passive lurk, you don't want to sit here every single round. This be the only place, because if the other team, if they pick up on your tendencies and they're like, this guy only lurks a ramp, he's there by himself, let's just push Palace. Or he's always on the, on the ledge outside a ramp, let's flash over and double push him. You want to mix it up, you want to be unpredictable. The aggressive style of lurking, which is the other end, is when you are actively making presence on a part of the map and you're looking to take fights. On Mirage, you see a lot of people, they'll aggressively lurk, by doing something like this. They'll, throw this lurk out smoke, which it cuts off all vision of a ramp, and it allows them to, come here, and you can throw it actually a little differently, where you're actually able to peek over this, but, sometimes people get up here and they'll try and take a fight. Sometimes they get up Tetris, but you're actively, like, the enemy knows you're there. And the aggressive style is usually used in one of two ways. Either this means, let's say your team is grouped outside B, and let's say that your team, did default mid control in the beginning of the round. There was a trade that happened, it's 4v4, and now there's, like 40 seconds left, and your team's grouped outside of B ready to hit the site. This means they want you to run distraction. Obviously the ideal scenario is that you go out here and you get a kill. This either pulls a rotate before your team executes, but even if you're not necessarily getting a kill, if you're just being as annoying as possible, this is cluttering the enemy's communication. They're not really sure, if they're hitting A, if they're hitting B. So, this might involve something like, in Palace, you can get to the end here and you can throw a smoke like this. So, you can peek out and like check default, you can just come behind the smoke, you can peek stairs, you can do whatever you want, and the aggressive styles of lurking don't necessarily, it doesn't always have to involve a lurk out smoke. You don't even have to use any utility. Let's say I'm A ramp, they're outside B, 40 seconds left, and I'm just like, I'm coming out here, I'm looking for the guy triple, the CT guy, looking for a guy default, you know. You're basically just looking to take a fight. And a lot of the time what happens is if it's a 4v4, their resources are spread thin, right? Let's say that I come out here and I kill this guy toll booth, and then I drop into the site. They now have no control of A. Let's say they were playing one retake at CT toll booth, one guy in window kind of spotting the window boost and the connector walk up, and then two towards B, maybe one on cat, one in the site. I've just killed the only control of the A bomb site they have. So let's say I drop in here, you know, I toss a smoke like this or something, and I get farther control. This maybe pulls, you know, maybe the cat guy starts gravitating towards mid. Maybe the guy that was window now breaks this and is starting to go CT because they think that since I now have control of the A bomb site, that that's where my team is headed. The whole idea is if you get the kill, that's the ideal scenario, and you want to pull rotates. You want to basically make it a mystery to the other team what site you're going to hit. Now, that would be, those are the most, you know, straightforward passive and aggressive styles of lurking. You can lurk aggressively, but still make your presence unknown as long as you can. So, you know, sometimes if my team's taking mid control, a lot of teams, at the very beginning of the round, right, 5v5, a lot of counter-terrorist teams will dedicate 3 players towards middle. They usually have, you know, maybe one window, one cat, one connector, because mid controls is big on almost all the maps because it allows you to split as terrorists, split sites. You know, I might lurk up a ramp like this. I'm lurking aggressively, but I'm not making it known that I'm here. Until a counter-terrorist spots me or I shoot at somebody, it's unknown, right? So let's say that they have a guy that's just playing retake because they have 3 towards middle, and he's going like this, and maybe he's watching Palace for a little bit, you know. A lot of the time, teams will anchor. They'll have an op anchor CT, so he might be, you know, up on these boxes, opping a ramp. You know, maybe he's going back and forth while he's waiting because his other teammate that's closest to A is in connector. Point being, it's happened to me in matches before. I'm able to get here, and, you know, I catch the timing where this guy CT doesn't see me, and I'll be able to get here, and, you know, I'll kill the guy that's in connector. Now my team, if they want, we can go into a fast A split. I've killed the, you know, the connector player. There's only one person towards A in CT. Maybe there's a guy window, but, you know, so it's really up to you. And becoming a good lurker takes, you know, a lot of experience. You've been in different situations, and more than that, you need to be able to read the other team based off of information your team gives you, sorry. So, you know, if I'm a ramp and my team is taking mid control, and there's a guy, they say guy, you know, fighting from connector, window, and cat, I know there's one guy A. They're playing a 1-3-1, right? So if I chose to, I could aggressively try and take this fight out A. Don't have to. Even if you know that there's only one guy there, you know, you can still play the passive lurk, because if your team gets 2 kills middle, now, you know, if they get man advantage from whatever traits happen there, you have more windows of, you know, or rather more options that open up to you. One big thing about lurking is you need to have a good, you know, sense of timing. You need to be able to process information from your own team and figure out, you know, what's the best option for you to do. But one thing is, like I said, let's say that something happens early in the round, you get this exchange happens, and you're pretty low health. You can be, you know, no matter your aiming ability, if I have 10 health and I try an aggressive lurk out here, no matter how good I am at aiming, unless I hit a really nice shot, right, like a one-tap, I'm probably going to lose that aim duel. So if you're lower on health a lot of the time, it's a lot better if your lurk is a very passive style of lurk. You know, you really late flank, or, like I said, the type of lurk where, you know, you're just top mid or something. Even, you know, maybe you couldn't get behind the boxes. Maybe you're here and your team hits A, and you're literally, you're trying to get as much advantage as you can in the next gunfight that you take. So you're just trying to kill the guy that rotates off a cat. You know, you're playing like an off angle, or, you know, you're going to late flank connector. On Dust 2, for instance, if you're really low health, maybe you stay lower tunnels, or you stay top mid, and your team takes A, and you wait to kill the people rotating from B as they come through doors. They try to go up cat because you're, you know, you're fighting them in the back. So, like I said, depends on the information your team gathers during the round, and the situation with how much utility do you have, how many nades do you have, and what your health is. Video actually ended up being a lot longer than I thought it was going to be, but I hope that I kind of gave a little insight into the different styles of lurking. Like I said, there's aggressive and passive. Those are the 2 main trees, but there's a lot of different ways that you can, you know, lurk aggressively or lurk passively, and that's just up to you to decide what's the best option for that round and you and your team. Thank you.